Matt Rhule returns to college after a brief stint in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers, and he does so with the Nebraska Cornhuskers this season in 2023. Matt Rhule does have expectations at Nebraska. From the 90s to now, there have been not the best performances on the field, but Matt Rhule looks to change that, and many Cornhuskers fans hope that he can change that as well. Matt Rhule does have expectations, not something he's had at this point in his college coaching career, being at both Temple and Baylor, both schools that are great college football programs, but doesn't have the expectations of somewhere like Nebraska. Such expectations that Bo Pelini had a 9-3 season and got fired after the season was over expectations. This school expects a lot. Matt Rhule is here to change that, and it's going to start in year number 1 this season. Matt Rhule has proven to be a slow starter, though, unfortunately. At Temple was 2-10 in his first season, and at Baylor was 1-11. But turned those programs around and moved on each step of the way, all the way to the NFL, but now finds himself back at the college football level in Nebraska. Nebraska does head into this season with the 29th ranked recruiting class according to On3 Sports, and other outlets in the same ballpark there as well. So the talent is coming in, and Matt Rhule can definitely help out with that, which is headlined by Georgia Tech transfer quarterback Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims ranked highly out of Florida coming out of high school and is coming off his best season that was mired by injuries. He really did trim down the interceptions last season, having a 5-game stretch without throwing any, where Georgia Tech won 3 of those games. He also has Marcus Satterfield, the offensive coordinator at Nebraska and a collaborator with Matt Rhule, and has worked with Rhule at Carolina, Temple, and Baylor, but has spent the last 2 seasons at South Carolina University. South Carolina, during his tenure last season, had the 40th highest scoring offense at 30.7 points per game, points per play on offense of 0.45, 22nd best in the country, and featured a very pass-heavy offense, the 38th most pass plays called on the season in college football, with a 52% of those plays being passes. And many would agree that Spencer Rattler is better than Jeff Sims, but the pieces are there in both of their games. So Satterfield won't really have to transition too much on his offense, as opposed to if he just had a traditional pocket passer. Jeff Sims can run. Matt Rhule has said that. He's not a runner that can pass. He's a passer that can run. So always a good benefit to have someone like that and someone that talented come to Nebraska. And Nebraska hasn't really had a standout quarterback now for a while, and hopefully Jeff Sims can improve that and make that a reality for them. They're also bringing in 2 transfer wide receivers come to the program, and they also have a freshman 4-star wide receiver coming in that is atop of the recruiting board there. And Billy Kemp, the wide receiver, transferring in 6 touchdowns last season. He will definitely be an added benefit for Jeff Sims, a proven pass catcher and someone that can score and catch touchdowns. And the running back room is also returning, namely Anthony Grant last season, a little bit under 1,000 yards, ending up with 915 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns on the season. Satterfield didn't run that much at South Carolina. 47% of the plays were rushes, 94th most in the country. So going to be an interesting situation for him to kind of blend that in and work that in. As everybody knows, the Big Ten is just the grind it down, run. And hopefully Anthony Grant can be a part of this offense and propel them to the next step for next season. The offense is not only the side of the ball that Matt Rhule had to fix. He addressed the defensive line in the portal and recruiting. 2 4-star defensive ends look to be day 1 starters here on that D-line and fix the defensive pressure that is leaving the program. And Nebraska was number 1 in defensive rushing plays that were deemed successful in the Big Ten last season. They do also return 4 of their top tacklers from this defense. For the past 2 seasons, Nebraska played great on defense despite their poor record. I think many Nebraska fans and people that follow the Big Ten really would tell you the same thing. The record didn't really reflect how truly good the team was, and closer to about that 5-6 win threshold that they have been searching for a couple seasons and missing for sure. The pieces are in place for them to win a lot more than they did last season. And I really do think that Matt Rhule is the man to fix Nebraska. Scott Frost was really just hired for his alumni status and alma mater, and it is definitely an added benefit when the AD is a good friend of yours, gives you more of a longer leash than you probably should have had, and I feel that most Nebraska fans would feel the same. This season, to just a quick rundown of the schedule, it is quite favorable. I would say the non-conference is very light, but does see them playing Deion Sanders and Colorado Buffaloes in Week 2 with the rivalry. But Week 1, they travel to Minnesota, a road game on Thursday night, 30th of August, right around the corner. The Minnesota Gophers have really lost a lot of production on both sides of the ball. The top two, Mo Ibrahim, the running back from Minnesota, the bell cow of their offense, and Tanner Morgan, hasn't had the greatest season since the bowl berth on New Year's Day against Auburn, but did have experience and did propel them to a couple winning seasons. I think that one can really go either way. Not many know how good Minnesota truly is, but going to be an interesting game for them and hopefully can start the year off on a good note. They then travel Week 2, another road game, to Colorado to renew the rivalry between Nebraska and Colorado. Matt Rhule has subtly taken some shots at the Deion Sanders approach of the transfer portal, saying we want to coach the guys who brought in the transfer portal. We're not trying to send anybody out. And Deion, the other side of the coin, said he wants to recruit anybody he can in the transfer portal. That is going to be his calling card, getting players to and from his program through that transfer portal. I think that Matt Rhule is the better coach, has the better talent. Even if it is a road game, I think Nebraska wins this one and gets win number 1 on the season. They then follow that up with 3 straight home games, the first being Northern Illinois, a MAC school. Again, Matt Rhule has the better talent and is the better coach. I think they win that one. Follow that up with a win against Louisiana Tech, another win. And then they play host to Michigan, the reigning defending Big Ten champions. And it's going to be a tough one. I think it is going to be a close game for about a half, and in the second half, Michigan will take over just due to the defensive depth and offense that they possess. J.J. McCarthy returns this season, and Michigan wins that one. So it is a loss. And then Illinois, they travel to Illinois. Illinois had a very good season last year, exceeding expectations, and I think they maintain that pace yet again. It's going to be a tough game and one that I think Nebraska will hope to keep close, but I don't think that it is going to be a win for them, unfortunately. They then play host to Northwestern, whose win total on the season is 3.5. I don't think that Nebraska will lose to Northwestern. It will be a disappointing day for the Cornhusker faithful. If that happens, I think they win that one and getting win number 4 on the season. Purdue, this one is going to be tough. It is a home game. But Purdue lost Aiden Connell to the NFL draft and replaced him with former Texas quarterback Hudson Card. Purdue did beat them last season, and I think that a lot of these guys on the roster know that they were in that game and definitely make it closer. And I think they win this one at home, homecoming day, and they are the better team and talent. You can see from everybody that returned on defense and now on offense, the new players coming in. I think they win this one and get win number 5 on the season. They follow that up with Michigan State. Michigan State at Michigan State. Mel Tucker had a really good season 2 years ago, got the 10-year mega extension. I think was likely not thought through. Didn't have the greatest year last year and may be the case for them yet again. I think Nebraska wins this one to get win number 6. It is a guaranteed at least. They then finish the season with Maryland at home. Tua's little brother, Tagovailoa, is back. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm not sure if Nebraska is built that way to play the high-scoring game. So that one is going to be an iffy one for me. They then play Wisconsin. At Wisconsin, a road game. It's going to be interesting to see how Luke Fickell does in his first year at Wisconsin. Matt Rhule in his first year, both good coaches. I think that the home factor for Wisconsin gets them this one. The season then finishes with a game at home against Iowa. Nebraska beat them last season, the final game of the season, and I think that they get this one as well. The better offense here. Iowa plays so slow and could not complete many passes last season. Just ran the ball down everybody's throat and didn't really work to much avail. So I think they get a win here and end the season 7-5, which would be over the win total of 6.5 at some books, and some books have it at flat 6. I think the Matt Rhule this season is going to be a good coach for what this team needs, especially in the Big Ten. I think he can thrive, and over 6.5 wins is going to be the play here for Nebraska.